Millions of people are captivated by grainy videos of strange shapes and a sudden flash of light across the desert night sky. We scour the internet for the latest tic-tac footage, hunting for any scrap of evidence that the military has reverse-engineered extraterrestrial technology. This cultural fixation centers squarely on the restricted airspace over Nevada and Utah. It is a vast, empty stretch of the country where civilians are convinced the government is hiding secrets from another world. Focusing on the sky ignores a paper trail hidden in plain sight. Declassified government databases and public procurement contracts detail operations that are grounded, documented, and fully terrestrial. The Tonopah Test Range, Area 52, and Utah's Dugway Proving Ground serve as the restricted hubs for these documented programs. Decades of UFO mythology grew out of an environment of extreme secrecy, a tool used to shield experimental, unchecked military science from public scrutiny and congressional oversight. Back in the 1970s and 80s, residents near the Tonopah Test Range frequently reported seeing bright circular orbs and bizarre angular shapes hovering above the desert. These sightings triggered a wave of public hysteria about alien visitors. Those sightings were accurate, but the craft were entirely human. Tonopah was operating as a highly classified testing ground for unconventional, cutting-edge aerospace engineering. When witnesses reported silent triangular UFOs, they were actually watching the covert development of radar-evading stealth technology, like the geometric F-117 Nighthawk fighter jet. At the exact same time, a program codenamed Constant Peg was running out of Tonopah. American pilots were secretly flying captured Soviet MiGs over the Nevada desert to train for potential Cold War dogfights. If you are the military testing highly sensitive Cold War aviation projects, a public looking for Martians is highly convenient. By leaning into the UFO rumors, the government ensured civilians wouldn't ask the right questions about the actual aircraft flying overhead. Dugway Proving Ground in Utah shifts the focus from aerospace to the soil. This remote facility, larger than the state of Rhode Island, houses operations far removed from flight testing. In the 1960s, the Department of Defense initiated a highly classified testing program known as Project 112, authorized by then Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara. Under this program, the military developed and tested lethal chemical and biological weapons. This included deadly nerve agents that paralyze the respiratory system, like sarin and VX, along with live biological simulators for anthrax. To measure how these toxins would disperse, the military tested them on unknowing U.S. service members. Covert operatives even sprayed these agents into the New York City subway system during rush hour to simulate a biological attack on a civilian population. The baseline data for these human trials had a disturbing origin. At the end of World War II, the United States granted immunity to Japanese biowarfare scientists, shielding them from war crimes prosecution in exchange for their lethal research on human subjects. The sheer volume of weapons produced by these programs required a massive cleanup effort. The Deseret Chemical Depot, located right next to Dugway, became the site of the Tulay Chemical Agent Disposal Facility. For 16 years, this single facility operated with one purpose: incinerating millions of pounds of stockpiled chemical agents, including massive reserves of mustard gas and sarin. So while popular culture obsessed over the threat of hypothetical alien invasions, the U.S. government was actively conducting mass casualty chemical and biological warfare experiments on its own soil, often exposing its own citizens. The military successfully kept Project 112 completely hidden for 40 years. It wasn't until the year 2000, following intense investigations by journalists and the Government Accountability Office, that the Department of Defense admitted the program existed. Because the government officially denied the tests ever happened, thousands of exposed veterans were blocked from receiving proper medical care or disability payments for severe, chronic health issues caused by the chemical agents. This testing is not relegated to Cold War history books. We know this because the military must legally post its operational requirements on public contracting databases. Looking at this recent solicitation from the government contracting site sam.gov, we see an active requirement for mission support services at Dugway's West Desert Test Center. The document explicitly states, the contractor shall work with lethal or incapacitating chemical and biological agents. Alien conspiracies serve as highly effective free public relations for the military-industrial complex. By keeping the public looking up at the stars for flying saucers, we are distracted from the very real, fully documented, and ongoing consequences of writing blank checks for national security.